Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego with my beautiful wife Karina from beautiful Venezuela. And we went through the K1 visa process just like you guys. Took 22 months, and Karina went through the US Embassy in Bogota, Colombia, even though she's from Venezuela. And now she's waiting for her green card to get adjudicated. But this video is about joint sponsorship, okay? Now, the minimum income requirements to qualify for a K1 visa at the embassy interview is 100% of the minimum federal income requirements. It's 100%. But then you got to think about when you get to the United States of America, you got to be at 125% to qualify for the green card. So my advice to you guys is be way above 125% of the minimum income requirements going into the K1 visa interview at the US Embassy, wherever it is. Now the reason I say that is because if you make it through the embassy interview at 100% and you get to America, then you got to be hunting for a joint sponsor. It's much better if you just find your joint sponsor right away, right off the bat. If you know you're at 100, if you're just above the 125% limit, get your joint sponsor, okay, and get the paperwork processed. Well, what paperwork do you need for a joint sponsor? Let me go over it with you guys. So if you have a joint sponsor, the joint sponsor is going to have to fill out a USCIS form I-134, Declaration of Financial Support. The joint sponsor fills it out, the sponsor fills it out, plus all the supporting financial documents. The bank statements, the pay stubs, the tax returns, the tax transcripts, the W-2s, the 1099s, etc., etc. The joint sponsor provides all that information, and you, the sponsor, provide all that information. Go to the visa interview and let the embassy officer, the consular officer, decide which one they're going to use, the sponsor or the joint sponsor. The first goal is to get through the K1 visa interview, all right? That's the first goal. The second step is you get to America and you're going to have to file for a green card, but the paperwork continues. You're going to have to fill out, Mr. Sponsor, you're going to have to fill out and sign Form 864, USCIS Form 864. And if you have a joint sponsor, that person has to fill out USCIS Form I-864 also. Okay? So the sponsor fills out the affidavit of support, the joint sponsor fills out the affidavit of support. Now, if your joint sponsor is like your mom or your dad or a family member that lives under the same roof as you, y'all living together, then the joint sponsor will fill out Form I-864A. If your joint sponsor lives way across America, like you live in Texas and your joint sponsor lives in Hawaii, that's fine. That person will fill out and sign Form I-864. So it's very important that you understand the difference between the two forms. But when you go to the visa interview at the embassy, both the sponsor and the joint sponsor will fill out Form I-134. The I-134 is a declaration of financial support. The I-864 is the affidavit of support. Joint sponsors fill out both. Remember, the joint sponsor has to provide bank statements, 12 months worth of bank statements, 6 months worth of pay stubs, a letter from the boss or his or her boss saying where she works or where he works, how much money he makes, your tax transcripts for 3 years, tax returns for 3 years, W-2s, 1099s. If you're self-employed and you don't get a W-2, you'll get a 1099. Your joint sponsor has to provide all that information. Plus, the sponsor has to provide all that information at the visa interview and for the green card application. Now, some embassies might say, well, we don't need the sponsors I-134 at the embassy because we got the joint sponsors. That's fine. But let the consular officer make that decision, not you. Okay? When you file for the green card, your joint sponsor fills out the I-864. If it's a family member living under the same roof, it's I-864A. Plus all the supporting financial documents. Bank statements, 12 months worth of bank statements, W-2s, 1099s, tax transcripts, letter from the boss, and a letter of employment. Basically, you got to back up your joint sponsor as you got to prove the joint sponsor's income. And how do you do that? Bank statements, tax returns, W-2s, 1099s, tax transcripts, letter from the boss, pay stubs, etc. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. If you need a joint sponsor, If you make just above the 100% line, okay, get a joint sponsor. You need, and if you make just above the 125% line, let's suppose you make about $1,000 above the minimum income requirements, whether it's for the embassy or for the green card, get a joint sponsor. Even if you qualify financially just above the minimum income, immigration are going to want to see a joint sponsor. Trust me on this one. Don't forget, I do a live stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays at 6 p.m. Central Time. You know, we give you free advice on how to do green card applications and K-1 visas. I'm not an immigration attorney. I don't give you any legal advice. I don't work for any government entities or any companies that process visas. We do this for free. I got 9 years experience doing this very successfully. See you at the live stream. And thanks for watching.